Lads, we're starting! Okay, so today we're doing an introduction to plants. It's kind of very basic, so it's fine, you'll understand.
What is going on? Oh, okay.
Okay, so we have 4 sections. I'm sure you can read, so here are the sections.
No, okay.
No, too bad, I refuse.
Okay,
anyways.
What are plants? They're kingdom of eukaryotes, evolved from algae about 1.2 billion years ago. And about 500 million years ago, they started moving to land, and they were the first living things to live on land. They're distinguished by their cell walls made of cellulose, their lack of movement, and also they're autotrophic, which means they produce energy by themselves. And the process for this is called photosynthesis. Structural features of plants. There is a lot of variation in the structural features of plants because they're a whole kingdom. So things like mosses and lichens, the more primitive plants have simple structures, and more complex plants have stuff like vascular tissues, the xylem phloem, roots, leaves, flowers, and whatnot. Roots. Okay. These are examples of some life cycles of plants. So a distinguishing feature of plant life cycles is alternation of generations, where there's one phase where they're haploid, which means it's half the number of chromosomes, and one stage where they're diploid. Yes, these are called sporophytes and gametophytes.
Okay, so now, defining characteristic of plants, they can photosynthesize, right? So how do they do that? They have chloroplasts. The blob, the myth, and the legend. Chloroplasts contain chlorophyll, which is a color thingamabob that absorbs sunlight, which allows them to photosynthesize. Yeah, so it's basically the opposite of the mitochondria, you know? So this is a chloroplast. As you can see, it looks like a blob. You can notice it has 2 layers on the outside. The actual insides are actually another layer, which is kind of funky because it's a layer inside a layer inside a layer. The little disc things are called Cycloids. I don't know why they call them that, but they call them that. The stuff in between, like the analogies to like cytoplasm, is called stroma. The actual things inside is called lumen, and the stacks are called grana. So the cycloids are the things that actually contain the chlorophyll, and they're the things that collect the light energy in order to photosynthesize. Oh. They came from the olden days of unicellular life when there was just like, tiny little blobs eating each other. Instead of being eaten, they just got engulfed somehow. We have no idea how right now. Probably something bumped into something and hey, combined. So they decided to keep them around because hey, they're useful. They can produce glucose and stuff. And yay, this is called endosymbiosis. This is the same thing that happened with mitochondria.
All right, next we'll be talking about anabolic reactions, because photosynthesis is an anabolic reaction. So, what are anabolic reactions? The reactions that build up more complex molecules from simpler molecules. This is the opposite of catabolic reactions, where you break down complex molecules into simple molecules. And this is like pretty fundamental to life because it's going against entropy, right? You're putting things together, reducing disorder. The diagram is an example of an anabolic reaction. So you have some smaller molecules, and then it takes in energy and uses energy and creates bonds between them and creates a larger. So yeah, some features of anabolic reactions: they require energy input. With catabolic reactions, they produce energy. And a common type of anabolic reaction is something called dehydration synthesis, where a hydrogen is removed from one side, hydroxide is removed from the other side, and this creates a bond between them, and as this water is a byproduct.
Okay, so now, one of the most common types of anabolic reactions is photosynthesis, as we have stated before. So this is the equation. 6 carbon dioxide molecules plus 6 water molecules plus sunlight and chlorophyll becomes the glucose molecule. and 6 oxygen molecules. However, as Ms. Hermanovsky has said, there's actually 6 more waters on both sides that aren't used very often. Aren't used up. Wait, go back. All right, so in preparation for our experiment in our next week's meeting, let's talk about some factors that affect photosynthesis. So first, obviously, everything in this equation is a factor. If you have more carbon dioxide, you have more photosynthesis. If you have more water, you have more photosynthesis. Up to a point, though, because you don't want the plant dying. Different amounts of sunlight, different intensities of sunlight, different variations of sunlight also affect photosynthesis. The amount of surface area that it's exposed to also affects it. The temperature and also the amount of chlorophyll in the plant also affects it. So photosynthesis.
Yeah, it's the end. Can we have a Q? We probably have just enough time. It's just 8 questions, so let's see.
Now we have the Kahoot.
No.
How much time do we have?
Okay. We have 10 minutes, so it should be.
Yeah, no, the device is ready. We have Kahoot.
Okay. Yeah. Start. Okay.
Come on, guys.
Oh, thank you for showing.
I heard 2 ads.
Okay. Is anyone else trying to join? Still in the middle of joining? Or...
Anyone joining?
Okay, you're joining. Okay. Okay. We don't have very much time, so I think I'll probably just
Okay, we're starting now. If you're still joining,
Oh,
keep
still
joining. You can join in the middle of the round.
Is it loaded? Yeah.
Okay, I just had this the entire presentation, but hey, we have a Kahoot.
Okay. Whoops. Oh, yeah. There we go.
Why is it so warm in this classroom? Question 1. How long ago did plants evolve?
Uh-oh.
There you go. Question 2. What are plant cell walls made of?
Yay, okay.
3. Oh wait, Scotiabank is in the lead. What is a distinct feature of plant life cycles?
Yeah, it's alternation of generations.
It's alternation of generations, guys.
Oh, L is
L is in the lead. Who's the death note here?
Oh, I forgot to talk. Yeah, it's the letter T, it's 2N. I forgot to talk about that.
The point is 2N, not N, guys. Those are the tiny little things that are being stacked, not the stacks themselves.
Oh, L is still at the top.
Yeah. What is the name for the most prevalent theory on how plants got chloroplasts? All right. All right, anabolic reactions
They
do
take
not
in
produce
energy.
energy. They produce larger molecules from energy.
Huh?
That's not energy.
That's not energy. That's gluten. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, last one.
Okay,
Yeah.
glucose is produced. That is glucose. H2O and CO2 are used to produce it. L.
L.
Who is L? Who is John's L? Congratulations, you guys win nothing.
Wait, who's going to have chocolate?
Oh.
Wait, I'm going to.
No, I have.
My defending person.
All right.